Yes, welcome back to Home Studio Q&A here on Studio Live today. My name is Pete and this is our show, our weekly live show, all about home and mobile recording. If you've got questions, I can't guarantee I have answers, but the beautiful part is the Studio Live Today community are all here and we have some wonderful folks here. So if I don't know the answer, chances are someone here in the community is going to be able to help you out. We'll jump to the questions shortly. If you are here live on Facebook or YouTube, you can ask a question. Just put question in front of your question. That way I'll be able to find it nice and easily. And if you are here on the replay, never mind. Just throw your question down in the comments after the show. I will always circle back and try to answer as many of those as I can. What is our topic of today, though? I always do a quick feature topic every week, and today we're talking about going mobile. So what do I mean by going mobile? Well, many of you may already be recording on your mobile device, on your iPhone or your iPad, but for those who aren't, or for those who perhaps aren't set up with a full studio setup for your iPhone or iPad, I wanted to give you the quick fire solution here. If you needed to know just a couple of things to get you up and running, what would they be? You can go deep, you can do a lot of stuff, but what are the quick things that you need? And sing along with me if you've been here before, but the number one thing you need if you're using a Lightning-based iPhone or iPad is this little sucker here. This is the Lightning to USB 3 adapter, the genuine one from Apple. Now, I'm the first to tell you, use budget gear where you can. Don't spend money that you don't have to. This, however, is not really negotiable. So if you buy a third-party adapter, it will maybe work when you get it. It'll maybe work for a little while, but chances are over time it will fail, either because it's not made well or because Apple will update their iOS. So what I've said in the past is don't go out and spend $500 on microphones and audio interfaces and a whole studio setup for your iPhone or iPad and then skimp out. Yes, these are like $39 US as opposed to 10, 15, 20. You can get a cheaper one on eBay, but they pay for themselves in that they are reliable. You do not want to be in the middle of a face-melting guitar solo or vocal performance only to have your entire rig drop out because of your adapter. However, what if you want to skip the whole adapter thing altogether? Well, that's where, if you are getting started and you want the simplest solution, I recommend this sucker, the iRig Pro I/O. So the Pro I/O is great because it has a mic input, it has a guitar input, and it has a MIDI keyboard input. So whatever you're playing, whatever you're connecting, whatever you're recording on your iPhone or iPad, you can do it with this. The other good thing is, in the box, it comes with a Lightning cable right there. So you don't need any Lightning to USB adapter. You just plug and play with this sucker. It also comes with USB-A, so you can plug it into your Mac or your PC, and you can even convert it to USB-C with a simple A to C adapter if you're using a newer iPad Pro or even a newer Android device that uses USB-C. So when people come to me and they say, Pete, I don't want to mess about, I just want to get good, high-quality recordings into my iPhone or iPad because I'm going mobile, I say check out the iRig series. Now, the Pro I/O series is if you want all of that. If you want just guitar, the iRig HD is a great guitar interface. And if you want just MIDI, iRig MIDI, iRig keys. iRig are good because they're simple, they just work. Are they the absolute best quality? Potentially not, because what I would go for, if I could choose, and I can, is to actually use a USB audio interface. This is my beloved Steinberg UR12. It is in the box because I've upgraded to a Steinberg UR22C. I also own a Steinberg UR44. I have a bit of a problem. I love me some Steinberg. So why would you use a device like this? Well, this uses USB. So if you're connecting to your Mac or PC, it's plug and play, but it's also class compliant and also has dual power. If we look on the back here, it's got we can't see it very well, but it's got the ability to be powered directly from a mobile battery. So if you grab yourself your standard sort of mobile battery, this is the Romos, the one that I like to use, the OM10. This got 10,000 milliamps of charge. You can use your device, your USB audio interface on the go for as long as you want. And that's why I use Steinberg. Focusrite are good, Behringer are good, Presonus are good. Focusrite, the reason they take the cake in my book is that they have that dual power option, meaning you don't need things like a powered USB hub. That is the one other thing if you're getting started. So if you're worried about power and you're getting an interface that's not a Steinberg, you also need something called a powered USB hub, which I can't show you because it's plugged in down there, and I'm using it right now for my iPad for a later show. So that is the basics of connecting up to your iPhone or iPad. If you're using something like a USB audio interface, then you need to grab yourself a Lightning to USB 3 adapter, this one from Apple. If you want to go simple, grab yourself something like the iRig Pro or HD series that's going to connect straight up. And if you want to check out any of this stuff, you can head over there, studiolivetoday.com/gear. I've got all the links, all the recommendations, everything is used and tested by me and or people that I know and trust. So that is how you can get yourself set up to record, and then your recordings can go with you wherever you go. Isn't that cool? So I hope you got something out of that. I know many folks, many regulars here on the show will know all of that stuff inside and out, backwards and forwards, but occasionally I just want to do a quick, simple refresher because a lot of people miss the power of that. They don't realize that you could even do this. I still get emails every week from people saying, I didn't know you could plug a USB audio interface, a MIDI keyboard, a microphone. You can put all that into your iPhone? Are you sure? I'm sure. I do it all the time. Alrighty, so thank you for the folks who are here. We've got some questions coming in there. What I'll do is I'm going to jump over and check out the questions, some of the questions we've had from during the week, and then we will jump back to the folks who are here live, and then we will we'll crack on with some of those questions. So if we bring up my screen here, boom, there it is. Never know the directions. There it is. So first question here comes from Zimba, and it's about re-releasing with DistroKid. It says, hey, if I do that, are the previous streams saved? So I wanted to go on a mini rant about this one because I've been getting probably 3 to 4 questions every day about releasing music and particularly editing music that you've already released. How do you edit it? How do you change it? How do you add to it? How do you remove from it? Here's the thing. The way I would address releasing music is go old school. Think about it like you're actually putting a CD out. Like you're putting a CD, you're printing it, you're putting it on the shelves of a music store. If you think about it in those terms, you'll realize the kind of finality of things, because the thing is, unlike a lot of other things that are online, it is really difficult because you have to go through a distributor, in this case DistroKid. Because you're going through a distributor, they take your music, they take your EP, your album, your song, and they send it out to 200 plus stores. If you then want to change it, or if you then want to remove it or update it, they have to pull it back. Imagine having to go out to every physical store, every Kmart, Walmart, and Target Mart around, whoever sells, no one sells CDs anymore, but whoever did back in the day, and having to collect all of those CDs and bring them back. It's not really possible and feasible. And the same thing can be said for releasing music, because people ask things like this: will it save my streams? Will it save my sales? Will it save things? Probably not, because you're removing something and you're replacing it with something new. The stores just treat everything as a release. Now, there are some ways and some things you can do to change it. If you've got a spelling mistake in the title, you can push that through and update it. Sometimes it'll let you update the album artwork. But when you hit that submit button, just pretend that that's going out into the world, and that's a shot in time of what your release is going to be. If you want to release it again, do a remastered version, do a remixed version, do an updated version. You can do that, a radio edit, whatever you want to do. You can do that. But, and especially, a few folks have said, if I'm making an album, can I just release like 10 singles and then press the magic button and it puts them all into an album and they keep all of their streams and all their plays? No, because the album version is going to be different from the single version. You just need to re-upload everything in an album or in an EP, and you'll be good to go. And I know none of this stuff's obvious. I'm not saying this to say, hey, you should know all this stuff, because everything else we do digital seems to be very easy. It's all very temporary and removable and changeable. I just wanted to point out that when it comes to releasing, sometimes things are not that way. So you need to either be happy with what you've got out there and then move on and release something new, or if you want to change it, you have to completely delete it, but live with the consequences of it coming down. And then whatever you re-release is like a fresh, clean, blank slate. Hopefully that helps a bunch of folks out there with those sort of questions. Let's move on. Question here about USB audio interfaces, which we were just talking about. Hey, Pete, why can't you use the powered USB 3 hub with a Lightning to USB cable from the iPad to the USB hub, and also plug in the 2i2 USB cable into the hub to charge both devices, thereby skipping the use of the Apple adapter? If only it was as easy as that. If only there was a way around this $39 piece of plastic. There simply isn't. So this creates the USB host. This actually has a chip in it, and it creates a host, which means it can go input and output. If you plugged your iPhone just into a USB hub, that's sending the input. So everything that goes into your USB hub, into the USB ports, they're your inputs, and then you need to plug the other end of the hub, the actual cable, into what you want to actually send those inputs to. It doesn't work to just plug this in, otherwise the hub wouldn't know what device it needs to send things to. It's very much a flow, an input-output flow chain. So you do need to plug your devices into your hub, and then your hub in to your iPhone or iPad using your Lightning to USB 3 adapter. Now, if you're on an iPad Pro, you can use pretty much any USB-C to USB-A adapter because they are a generic standard. However, your Lightning is an Apple proprietary standard, meaning that you always need to have that. And please, I mean, you can. Like, I'm not telling you what to do. In my opinion and in my experience, you need one of these. If you choose to go out and not do it, just, unfortunately, don't come and send me an email saying my whole rig doesn't work because I bought a cheaper cable, because I'll just simply say, sorry, but you needed to buy the genuine Apple adapter. I know, I'm a broken record. I say this every week, but I just want to make sure it's out there because I hate seeing people waste money. I'm never going to tell you to buy stuff you don't need because I don't believe in that either. I don't believe in wastage. I'm actually a greenie hippie, and I don't like all of the e-waste and the technology that we just buy and then throw away. So I want you to buy stuff that is going to work, that is going to last, that is not going to waste money and resources. Anyway, let's move on. This one is from Kathleen. It says, "Hi Pete, thanks for the great info in the video. I have a question. I'm about to buy an iPad Pro 11-inch. Good choice. I also own an iPad Pro 11-inch. I am a songwriter and will be recording on this, as I do, and I might do some vocal harmonies, usually 5 instruments at the most. What I'm wondering, how much space? I'm thinking 256 gig for sure, but do you think I should go for more storage? I am likely to not buy another iPad for a long time. I'm going to have a sip of coffee, and then we're going to discuss this. So, storage space. Storage space on your iDevices. So, for full disclosure, I have a 256 gigabyte iPhone XS, and my iPad Pro 11-inch, this one here, is 512 gigabytes. They were the sweet spot at the time of what I could afford with my budget and what I thought I would use. My 256 on this, because I use this for all my video editing and a bunch of audio, I fill up all the time. I'm constantly having to delete and rehash things because video takes up a lot. My iPad Pro, I've never even got close to filling 256. So if you are doing music alone, 256 should really be fine. What I always say with this stuff though is do spend whatever you can. If you have the budget to go to 512 or even a terabyte of storage, then do it, because again, there's no way to upgrade it or update it over time. And I like the security of having that additional space. It does make me feel better knowing that no matter how much I grow and no matter what I change and add, I'm always going to be able to do that. So if I want to do super high quality audio, if I want to do all my video, I want to shoot 4K video and start editing it, then I can do all of that. So I say all that to say, yes, I'd probably, if it's within your budget range, I'd consider 512, but 256 will definitely do you good. And the thing is, because it's USB-C, it's very easy to hook up to USB drives, to use Wi-Fi drive, to send things over to your Mac or PC. So there are ways around it, but you don't want it to hamper your creative process. So let me know though, if others use iPads and iPhones, what size would you use? What size do you use, and what do you recommend? Do you think you need to go big or go home? My view is whatever you can afford, go for it. One more question here, then we'll jump over to the live, folks. So, question here from Perrin Sejo says, "Greetings, Pete. I hope you're okay. I'm well, my friend. Love the channel and professionalism. Do you have any recommendations for a GarageBand plugin that includes rainfall, thunder, soundscapes, etc.? Thank you for your time as always. Much blessings. Keep on rocking." So, not specifically. So there's a bunch of different plugins that have a bunch of different sounds, but I've tended to find if you want sound effects, soundscapes, other sounds that you want to bring in there, things like you're asking for here, rainfall, thunder, I tend to just find a sample and import it. I think you can get a much more custom sound. I don't know of any apps that have those, but when I've heard people using specific sound effects from specific sound effects apps, everything can end up sounding kind of similar. So unless, I mean, the ultimate is take your phone out and do some sort of found sound sampling when it's raining or when it is thundering, and then you can get your absolute own sounds in there. That's super cool to do. But otherwise, you go to somewhere like freesound.org or basically anywhere on the internet. Just check the licensing. Don't download samples that you can't use for commercial releases if you then plan to release it. But then all you need to do is copy that over into your GarageBand file transfer folder, go into GarageBand, pull in the WAV, the MP3, the M4A, whatever file it is, into your GarageBand project, and you can go ahead and use it. You can even add it to the sampler. So if you want to play it as a sound and you want to play it over and over again, instead of adding the file there, go to the sampler, import it as a sample. That's another good way to go. Righty dokie. Let's jump over to the chat and see if we've got any questions from the folks who are here live. We've got folks talking about collaborations and doing all sorts of cool things here, so absolutely. I like that. Just scrolling up looking for the word question. If you do have a question, you can ask it here. I've seen a couple. Let me see. Here's a question. Sorry, I'm looking at the question from Desolate Morning. Yes, does your shirt go faster? Yes, it is red, so it absolutely goes faster. Red goes the fastest. We know that. I got a new car though, and I bought a blue car. So go figure. I should have bought a red one. Not going to go fast, but then I won't get speeding tickets. So, see, on the ball. Question here from Nandini. Says, hi, Pete. Could you please tell us how to binaural tunes and maybe suggest some free binaural plugins for iPad? I've actually not done anything binaural. So binaural is usually a stereo recording. Sometimes it's sort of a 360-degree recording. If you've ever seen those head microphones, I know it sounds weird, but they're microphones that are like a head with a pair of ears. And it's basically like a stereo recording. So the only thing I've done with stereo recording is literally using two microphones. I've also, not that one. Where is it? It's behind me. Over there, that USB microphone has a four capsules inside, and that can do stereo polar patterns. So that would probably be good for doing stuff like that. That's what is that? The 8kg Lyra microphone. So yeah, that would do the job for something like that. But no, I don't have a lot of experience. Maybe other folks here do have more experience and can hopefully help you out. Tech for Your Needs says, what's your editing software and why do you choose it? So I edit everything in LumaFusion, mostly on my iPhone, sometimes on my iPad. So I do everything on mobile. Why do I choose it? Because it is simple enough. So it's 6 channels of audio, 6 channels of video, but it has all the things that you need. So it has transitions, it has titling, it has all the editing. You can put LUFs and filters and do all the things, but it's simple enough, and I can take my editing with me wherever I go. So I don't have to be sort of tied down. I can edit on the go, literally. I can go for a walk and edit a video while I do that. So yeah, everything I do it for you. No, everything I do it on mobile, and that includes my video editing. LumaFusion for the win. Just going to scroll on down and start love me some WeChat. Did I say have a WeChat? Yeah, not that sort of WeChat. I'm just going to continue and just see if we have any other questions. Oh, I'm going to pop. I've left Jade's comment on there. I'll just see if we have any other questions here, and then we will. If not, we will go back to the other one. SM Borthwick says, "Don't need a dongle because I use a direct lightning." The Focusrite iTrack Solo is another option. I don't know if they even make them anymore, but I've heard a lot of people that really like them. The iTrack. Yours? I didn't do very good due diligence. I didn't talk about my gear guide throughout that little section on gear, but yes, studiolivetoday.com/gear is where you want to go if you want the gear that I recommend and use in the home studio. I don't think we have any questions. Any other questions? I'll jump back at the end just to tidy up and to make sure I haven't missed any. But as I scroll down here, there's lots of good chatter, but I don't see, excuse me, I don't see the word question in front of any of them. So I think we are good. Oh, we've got one. One has just snuck in there, which is from David. And David says, question, I'm getting so much buzz with my amp sims. I'm a Scarlett 2R2 into the adapter. Is this normal? Any amp sim recommend? Yeah, so a lot of your amp sims, especially the ones that have distorted tones, will have a bit of noise, a bit of feedback that comes through. Usually using a digital interface like the Scarlett 2R2 helps, but it won't always. Now, the best thing that I've found for doing this is I've been using the Nembrini amp sims lately. They seem to be really good. You get some good clean tones and also some good distorted tones with them. And Nembrini also make a free noise gate plugin. So I would use a Nembrini, what's the name of the free one? The Nembrini Crunk, CRNCK. I've done a video on it. You can search on the channel here. But the Nembrini Crunk is a free amp, and then they do a bunch of other paid for amps that are like $10 each. But they also do their little noise gate and other pedals that you can put in front of the amp. So I would grab the noise gate from Nembrini and then put it in front of whatever you're using. And then the good thing about that is it's not an on-off noise gate. You can just turn it down. So if you don't want it to be completely unnatural, that on-off sound, grab your noise gate and just turn it down. Hopefully that helps you out. Question from Gertrude says, how can you add, for example, 2 bars in the middle of your project without moving every single thing? Yes, this is a tough one, and I do get this question a lot. So this is why I advocate the use of song sections. So if you've used song sections in your song, then you can simply add in a section at the end and move it to the location that you want. I've done a video on this, so if you search Pete John's sections, I think I've got about 7 or 8 videos, probably a whole playlist on using song sections, but that's the easiest way to do it. And even if you've got a song that you haven't got sections, you can actually add them afterwards. I did a video called No Sections, Add 'em, or something like that. So yeah, you can add sections to your song, and then you can move things around. So if you're like, darn it, just after that chorus, I needed a 2-bar sort of interlude before I hit back into the verse or the bridge, then you can add it in. So when you add a section, it adds it to the end, but then in your sections menu, you can grab the section, drag it into the middle of the song, drop it, and it will just boom, pop it there, and then you can populate it with your audio. So hopefully that helps you out. And one final question, then we'll jump back over. Question, I apologize, I'm an absolute noob, but that's totally fine. We all start at 0. I'd say that a lot. How do I make certain sounds sound more far away or close? Are there any free 8D plugins for GarageBand iPad? No, so not really. So again, I'm not into the binaural stuff, so I don't actually understand that. I mean, the simplest way to sound close is to be on the mic, and to sound far away and distant is to get far away, because that will actually change your tone. Using compression is another one that works there. Using reverb and delay can give you a sense of space and distance when you're doing your recording. So if that's something that you're definitely looking to do, you might need to jump around and do some searching, because I'm sure there's many folks who are an awful lot better than I am at this sort of stuff. Let's jump back over to the questions we've had through the week. That is our last question. We've already answered that one. Let's jump into this one. It is so the topic here was around re-releasing. It says, "Hi Pete, I'm late on this video, but I'm desperate. I need your help. I released an EP of 6 tracks last year, one EP of 4 tracks 2 years ago, and a couple of singles since then. I wanted to change some of the songs, add new vocals, change the lyrics, remaster them, and upload them as one album mixtape that includes all of them." Cool. So 2 EPs, we're bringing them together as one album. Do you think it would be possible to delete my singles and EP and change a little bit the tracks, then re-upload them as one album? Thank you. So I think I answered this with the first question. So if you go back to the answer for question number 1, you could basically use the same response for that question. So you can do that, but you either need to just completely delete the old releases and release your new one if you don't want the old ones to exist, or leave the old ones up there and then just release yourself a compilation. That's what I would do. I don't think it's necessary to remove things that you've done in the past. I think it's it's like a time capsule. You can go back and see the old versions. So I've got songs that I've released several times. So there's one song that was on my very first EP, a song called Home, and then I remixed it and then included it in my album like a year and a half later. So yeah, I would do that. I would just create your new mixtape, bring all your songs together, the new versions, whatever they are, and then release them. And then there'll be 2 versions of all the songs. There'll be the original EP version, and then there'll be the album version, which is your updated version. So that would be my 2 cents on that one. Let's move on to the next one. USB audio interfaces. Did we answer this one as well? No, we didn't. I have a Scarlett Focusrite Solo 3rd Gen, which is a very good quality interface, connected to an iPhone with a Lightning to USB 3 adapter, which is connected to my iPhone XR and is being powered by a Lightning cable. My Focusrite is registering my guitar just fine, but I can't seem to get any audio from iOS apps such as Bias, Bias FX, ToneBridge, or GarageBand. What am I doing wrong? So it sounds in this one like you just need to make sure that you are monitoring your audio signal. So whatever amp sim you're using, whatever app you're using, make sure that you've got headphones plugged in to your interface, because that is where the sound's going to come out. It's not going to come out of your phone speaker. It's not going to come out of anywhere but that headphone jack. And then make sure you've got monitoring turned on, which is by default with a lot of those apps. But just check that. Sometimes they turn it off so that you don't get sort of feedback loops going on if you don't have an interface plugged in. But once you've got your interface plugged in, make sure that whatever app you're using, you've turned on monitoring, and then you're monitoring through your headphone. That's the usual problem with something like that. Question here from Valley Girl. Is there a way to convert video to an MP3 file on my phone? Good question. So what I do to convert video to audio, I use Audio Share most of the time. So most video files you bring into Audio Share, you can then save out as an MP3, well, as an M4A file. So what I do for, say, this podcast, this very podcast that you're listening to, if you're on the podcast version, is that I just simply download the video and then I convert it to audio, and then that's what's uploaded as the podcast. It's as simple as that. If you're talking about video from your phone, sometimes that won't be compatible. You'll need to use something like File Converter, or even bring it into LumaFusion. Again, LumaFusion, my video editor of choice. You can export as not only video, but audio only. And that's a good way if you wanted to bring some video from different sources together, but pull out the audio track. You can do that in LumaFusion. I think I've just answered that question. Moving on, a couple more questions here. Can you create MIDI files on GarageBand from Boba? This is going to be an easy one. No, you can't. So unfortunately, you can create them, you just can't export them. So you can use your virtual instruments, you can create your virtual tracks, but there's no MIDI export. There's MIDI import in GarageBand, no export. You need to look to something like Cubasis or Auria Pro, which do have MIDI exporting functionality. So sorry for that. Question here, how to record multiple tracks. How would this work using 4 tracks recording live drums? So when we talked at the start about audio interfaces, so we talked about this one, the Steinberg UR12, what you'll notice on this is that it has one microphone and one guitar input. So it's technically a 2-input device, but you can only plug one mic into it. The reason I said I also have a Steinberg UR44 is that actually has 4 different mic inputs. And the video that we're referring to here, as you can see, there is my UR44, that one there, and that has 4 different inputs. So in this video, I was recording 3 mics and 1 direct guitar. Now, if you're using that for drums, all you need to do is get all your drums, mic them up, so use 4 different mics, and then plug those into your 4 channels, and then record those 4 channels, and then in your mixing and your editing, you can pan those, you can put them where you want, you can adjust volumes and do other things. So that is what I would suggest if you are looking to record some drums, is just get an interface that has enough inputs, and then plug them in and record, and you'll be good to go. One final question from the week here. Oh, it's a long one. So this is about using a USB MIDI keyboard in GarageBand. It says, hey Pete, I just had a question. I wanted to buy a normal keyboard and use it as a MIDI keyboard so I could connect it to my iPad in GarageBand. I'm a bit unsure which keyboard to buy, as I'm not sure if a normal keyboard would even work. So yeah, anything that has, so there's 2 different ways here. So anything that has USB MIDI, you can plug directly in using something like this, like a Lightning to USB 3 adapter. You can plug in your USB MIDI keyboard and you'll be good to go. You'll be off to the races. If you're using an older keyboard that still has MIDI but has the old 5-pin DIN style connectors, you'll just need a device to convert that from those 5-pin DIN to USB, or use something like this, the iRig Pro IO, or I think you mentioned the iRig MIDI. They have the standard MIDI input. So you can use your standard 5-pin DIN connectors, plug it through something like this, and even something like the Steinberg UR44 or UR22C, they all have MIDI inputs as well. So there's 2 ways that you can do it. Direct via USB is the easiest that I find, and then if you don't have that, you need an adapter or an interface that supports MIDI. Hopefully that helps you out. We'll take one quick final look at the chat and see if we have any final questions from the folks who are here live. Just looking for the word question in front, but I don't see any. So I think we might be covered for this week. If you do have a question and I've missed you for whatever reason, please jump down into the comments after the show and leave your question there. And I'll be happy to circle back and answer that one for you. But that is going to do it for this week. I hope you got some value. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook and you did get some value, hit the like button. You know, that's always a good thing to do. Tells me that I should get up early and do these shows every week. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do so. You can head over to studiolivetoday.com if you want to find out all the ways you can keep in touch with me. Check out all the videos here on the channel. But until next week, I'll see you on the next show. Take care, folks. Cheers. And we're clear, and my coffee's cold. Cold coffee. I'll have to go and make myself a fresh coffee. You might have noticed that today's show was a bit earlier. 1000 Watt says I had two questions. I didn't see the word question. Sorry, if I missed your question, please ask it again, because I did try to scroll through, but y'all were chatting up a storm today. Lots of good conversations going on there, but none of them that were for the actual show. So Gino, I found that noise gate and an interface. I was using an old iRig and getting tons of noise. Yeah, the old iRigs, the old analog inputs. If you're using an old iRig or even something like this, the Tascam IXZ, which I do recommend if as an entry-level interface. But the problem with these is that you're making the phone do your analog to digital conversion. Your iPhone or your iPad, you're making that do the conversions. You want to use a digital interface. That way, the interface does the converting for you. And that was that question around the noise that you get in your sounds. Jay's got a suggestion here. Pro QR by FabFilter uses special reverbs to create instruments sounding to and far away. It's very expensive but amazing. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I thought that there would be plugins. I haven't played around with it much because I've not really done that whole 3D audio thing, but I was sure that there would be something that would do that. Question from Damien. Hi, Pete. Is the iRig good for recorded guitar or just jamming out? So the iRig, the original ones that use the analog are okay, but they create quite a bit of noise and feedback. The HD and the Pro series are actually much better because they create a direct digital connection, and that seems to be better. Question from 1000 Watts. I didn't get this week's email. I don't think I've unsubscribed, though, myself. That's a bit weird. Check your spam folder, maybe your email service. I know it gets through on Gmail because I have a couple of Gmail accounts that I have subscribed just to check that it works every week. But maybe check your spam folder or go back and put your email address in the form again. It's studiolivetoday.com/email. I'm pretty sure other people have actually responded to the newsletter. So I know others have got it. But So if that was one of your questions, I'm sorry that I missed it during the show. But just jump back over, and you should be able to resubscribe or check your inbox and see if it's been put somewhere else, which would be naughty of whoever your email provider is. Alrighty, I think we're actually going to be able to get away in a reasonable time. Here we go. I found your other one. Well, you've re-asked it. Chapters for timestamps, has it worked? And the question, chapters for timestamps, has it worked? So you had a question yesterday. I think you were asking about the chapters for timestamps. I'll bring up a video that had timestamps on my channel, and I'll just double check and reconfirm that it does actually work. If anyone else has any final questions while I'm doing this, please speak now, or I'd say forever hold your peace. No, speak now or hold your peace until, the next live show I do, which will be less than a week away, surely. So let's just come in here and I'll take a look at how this works. If you're wondering what this is all about, when you're creating a video, if you're creating a video on YouTube, you can now put timestamps, and I've been trying to do these on all of my longer videos so that you can go back and you can find things a lot easier, and YouTube is now actually showing them as chapters, which makes it really super handy. So let's open this volume mixing tricks video. I think this one has timestamps in it. So I'll show you my screen. So here's what it looks like. Here's what this looks like. So it's got all of the timestamps here for the different sections of the video. So you can just jump around there. And then when you go to actually play the video, which we'll do here, we'll play the video. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways down the bottom here, volume here in GarageBand. It has these little lines. So let's go. Does it? Yeah, maybe it doesn't show them all the time. Now, to help you out, because we're discussing all the different ways to adjust volume, so you can jump around. It was definitely working before because I've seen it before. So if you jump to a specific spot. Method number 2 is to use something called clip name. Doesn't seem to actually have. Usually when you hover over it, it's got the chapter name there. Doesn't seem to be. If we go to automation. Automation is my 3rd favorite. No, you're right. Well, there you go. Who knew? They were definitely there not long ago. So maybe they had a problem with them and they're retooling them or something. I don't know. But yeah, I guess they're not working. So go figure. Thanks for asking about it. There you go. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Same thing here. I use Gmail. I don't think it was in spam. So people are not getting the. Oh, that's terrible. You're not getting the. I'll look into that because I was sure that someone had already done it. That's weird. So yeah. So everyone's telling me that they're not getting that they didn't get this week's email. Well, not good. Hello to Claire. When you're ready to master, why can't you just merge all the tracks and then start mastering? You totally can. I've done that before. It's one of the methods that I suggest using is that you can merge all the tracks down directly there in that project and then, be good to go. The other thing I do is just export it as a WAV file, then bring that WAV file back in as a separate track on the project and master it there. So, yeah, you can do that 100%, and I've done it a few times and it works well. So, yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Well, sounds like I better go and get into MailChimp and work out why my newsletter didn't actually go out. I probably did something stupid like scheduled it for the wrong date or something like that. But apologies for that. I will go away and get that sorted because, yeah, I definitely wrote it and definitely, thought I'd hit the submit button, but apparently not. By the way, thank you. Hopefully this timing is better for those in the UK and Europe. I know I used to do this show 2 hours later. Sort of brought it back to my usual scheduled time, which is 2 p.m. LA, 5 p.m. New York, 10 p.m. London, 8 a.m. 7 a.m. Sydney. Get it together, Pete. That way it's just sort of more consistent with all the other shows on the channel. So hopefully that works better. And I know that, the folks in the UK and Europe, you'd often have to wait up a bit later because I think it used to be 1 a.m. that it started or 12 or something like that. Anyway. Alrighty. I think I've got... I wish to know your opinion. Which plugin for iPad GarageBand would be essential to have? I like LRC5. The LRC5 EQ plugin is definitely the one that I think is essential to have. Absolutely. Best EQ plugin, and it's free. If you go to studiolivetoday.com/freeau, I've got a bunch of free plugins that I've got listed over there. So I would recommend checking that out. Alrighty, that is going to do it for today. I hope you are having a good day. Now, what's coming up today? So I'm going to do a happy hour. Now, I've got to get the timing right here because it's all different now. In 4 and a bit hours' time. So it's later today or later this evening for many of you. I'm doing a happy hour, and it will be an hour of acoustic songs. These are my ladies' night songs. Well, ladies' names night or ladies' names day, if you're me. So I'll be playing about 10 songs. All of my favorite songs that use a lady's name in the title. So should be a lot of fun. If you do want to drop on back and check out that show, please do so. It will be live and it will be at 11:30 a.m. my time, which will vary in your part of the world. So check the channel for the live listings, and hopefully by then you'll get the very delayed or broken email newsletter, which I should be able to get out because it sounds like it didn't go out for whatever reason. So I'll go back and check in on that one. Thanks for being here, folks. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend of creating. For those of you who tune into the happy hour, I'll see you there, or feel free to catch up on the replay, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.